was cargo capacity. We've really addressed that with this vehicle. So.
What was number 2?
What's that? It was not in the functionality. I don't even know. I have to study on what number 2 is. 1 and 3, yeah, 4 and 6 out of the 10. Yeah, I think we confused a lot of people with that. Okay, so let's talk about this Highlander. Basically 2 words, upgraded and capable. More conveniences, larger third row, more family features, more storage capacity, very capable. Seating, up to 8, this particular with the captain's chairs is 7. All right, moving over here. If everybody, I'm almost done with their chips. I need some assistance over here, so you can still have your drinks and such. If you would gather around, get a few of you over on that side of the front row and a few over here and by the front, and I need 1 volunteer to sit in the front. If they would.
That man right there behind you in the Saints, I'm sure he'd be happy to volunteer because he's going to be buying one of these soon.
Well, I like how you did that one.
All right, there's a cup holder in there for you. All right, so let's talk about what some of the things the engineers did. The engineers moved the overhang on this vehicle 3 inches back there, but also 3 inches in the front. When they did that, they were able to move this driver's seat, yeah, that's a good idea, this driver's seat a 1/2 inch forward, stationary. They also, you'll learn, in the safety section, you'll learn about this WIL, this new redesigned front seat. It's actually 1 inch and a half less thick, allowing for more leg room in the back. So they were able to move the second and the third row 2 inches forward, addressing the cargo capacity in the back. Move this one a 1/2 inch, but what I'd like you to demonstrate is how the range is over 10 inches. So go all the way back. Now go all the way forward. Yeah. Now go all the way forward, as far as it'll go. Now, you will not probably drive in this mode, but if you're trying to get something large in the back,
Jesus.
yeah, see?
Oh, Jesus. Help me, please. Oh, Lord, I can't go no further. That's it for me.
The passenger side, it does the same.
It gets pretty close.
Yes. Now, you're not going to have your 4-year-old drive, but you can move it forward so that you can get some cargo in the
My
back.
daughter can get that close and be able to drive. She's 13.
Yeah. Well, she's still not supposed to be driving, just so you know. All right, sir, that earned you a bonus buck. You can step out now. And now, we need to move to the second row.
You already back there.
Yep, you guys are already my volunteers. Okay.
Sounds nice.
That sounds good. Okay, except what you're going to be demonstrating is the use of that cup holder when you're not having a cup in it. So pull out your can and then show everybody how easy it is to put it up and down. All right, now...
He was trying in your pocket. He went in your pocket. Got the buck.
Now, and then putting it back up is just as easy. Now, pop it down there. What's the advantage of having this lay flat? I mean, go ahead and put it down. What's that advantage of having that space right there?
You don't have to walk around and you don't have to remove it and just...
Right, pass through.
Exactly.
You know,
Easy
last year
access.
what we had was great. It was fun to show customers how it changed it from a captain's chair to a bench. But it ended up not being as practical because it was an adult that had to do it. And people ended up keeping it the way they had it all the time.
Exactly.
So we said we want really special captain's chairs that are truly comfortable, and we want the versatility for this family buyer. So that's why they added that. Okay, you guys can pop out.
I like how they marked that.
And that's my next thing I'm going to talk about. The engineers also thought about the fact that we need to do 2 things to these seats, the second row seats.
Sorry.
Who's my other volunteer in the back? Okay. What are the 2 things we normally have to do with these seats? Somebody's going into the third row. What we're going to do?
Lift it, fold it forward.
All right, so we've got a number 1. This latch is number 1. So, if you would do that side too, just pull up the number 1 latch and move it forward. All right, I don't want anybody to get in because we got to keep moving fast. But I want everybody to look in there and picture yourself getting in and out, or your family getting in and out, take a look at, and that front seat, can you move it forward a little bit? Because it's probably back a little bit farther than normal. That's good.
My kids, they can get back here like that.
Yeah. And they have this additional footstep that they cut out, so that it's much easier to get in and out. Now, don't forget that both the second row and the third row recline. So it's pretty darn comfortable in there. So, okay, so the engineers, go ahead and put it back up like this. The engineers said, we don't want to confuse people when they're trying to put somebody in the back seat and all of a sudden drop it down for cargo. So we're going to make this a two-step so that you don't, and especially when you're demoing it, you don't accidentally make it do what you didn't want it to do. So, I want to have cargo space. Pull the latch that says number 1. Now, pull the latch that says number 2. Voila. Easy. Yes, and it's on both sides. Something you didn't have last year. So, we'll go ahead and leave these down. And now let's talk about the third row. Well, before I leave the second row, though, remember that on this Platinum, those are for the person in the back to be able to flip it forward. So they won't need somebody in the second they don't get trapped in there.
Gotcha.
Thank you for asking that question. That was great. And remember that these captain's chairs are heated in this Platinum model. All right, let's talk about the third row. Everybody took a look at, actually pull this back up.
My bad.
Oh, no big deal. No problem at all. Yep, that's fine. Showing the reclining. What kind of suspension did last year's model have? Anybody remember? Strut.
McPherson Independent
McPherson
Strut.
struts, that's right. And with struts comes a strut tower. Big old tall strut tower. Well, now we have double wishbone suspension. No longer do we have a strut tower. So if you'll notice on these seats, they're much wider. In fact, just to show you there, 4.5 inches more shoulder room in the back, and 3.7 more hip and thigh space. So you truly can get 3 people in the back, especially your children. There you go. So,
Well, we know that. That's why we're selling you on it.
what is the advantage of the 40-60 versus the 50-50 we had last time?
You can distinguish what side you want to put more cargo in, or what side you want customers.
Absolutely.
Families sitting in.
So, paint a picture for that customer. One of our last, yes, there's room for 1 car seat here and 2 car seats there. So you got 3 car
Two sets
seats.
of golf clubs back here to still have room to sit more people.
That's good. Absolutely. So that's, and now on a family, one of the sales consultants previously said, we go to Disneyland, we have a lot of extra luggage. We can still have 2 people in the back and 4 kids. So, and still have the luggage space. So there are a lot of advantages to that. All right, if everybody will stand back here and look at that cargo space and tell me that we couldn't take this vehicle down to Best Buy today and buy a 53-inch LED flat screen and take it home in its box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
It's a 4x8 sheet of plywood in it.
You know, if I had a,
Oh, yes, you can.
I bet we can. I bet we
I'm
can.
gonna go with Walker. Walker said you can. That's amazing.
I'd say that's 8 feet, and I'd say that's where, yeah, I do believe you can. So we'll have to double check those measurements. All right. So, how did the engineers do it? Well, we talked a little bit about what they did up front. They did the overhang back here. In addition, they also reduced the height about 1 inch, and the width they increased by 1/2 inch. They didn't touch the wheelbase, so that hasn't changed. They were able to move the front seat up 1/2 inch. The second row and the third row were moved up 2 inches. Still gave more legroom in the front. They've got up to 1 inch more legroom in the for the driver. 1 inch more legroom for the second row, and 1/2 inch more legroom for the third row. We talked about the more hip room and shoulder room the third row has. Question?
I'm looking. I'm just trying to see Kate. I get one. Me and my wife have a date by ourselves without the kids. How you got the seats laid down? That's just, you
That's
know.
right. All right. And we increased the cargo capacity by 30%. At the dealership, if you get a chance, put a 13 next to the 14 and look at the cargo space. There's 6.1 inches more. When we had the 13, I had an 8 by 11 piece of paper, and it went all the way up to the back seat, and you can see how much more space we have here. It's huge. All right. Well, let's talk about a couple other things. Family oriented. The sunshade. I'm talking about a ton of features today, but what's more important, even when you're presenting to a customer, you look at their needs. When you're presenting a feature, what else do you have to present?
The benefit.
The benefit. Don't fly past and say, oh yeah, and we have a shade here. You have to paint that picture. That customer has a 3-year-old in a car seat right here. What's the benefits of having something like this?
Even though the window's tinted, ma'am, it blocks a lot of it, but even that doesn't block all the heat and the sun, so you can just slide a shade up there to give you that extra protection to help the chop.
Absolutely beautiful. Anything else? What else besides sun protection, UV protection, and heat?
Privacy.
Yeah, you're hitting it. Absolutely. There's one more that somebody brought up the other day, which is an excellent one as well. What if you have a backpack with a laptop in the back? What about security? Let's put those shades up. They can't really see in to see what's in the back.
I figured privacy kind of went in with that whole security thing.
Privacy's from the inside out, security from the outside in.
Okay.
But you're right,
All about
perspective. It's all perspective. All right. This also has available a rear seat Blu-ray DVD entertainment on the XLE and the Limited. On the Platinum, not so much because we have the panoramic roof, so we don't have the drop down. It's about $1,800, and it is that's the one we do the boss change on, right? If they want it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's a boss change. If you do want the DVD player, so I don't think any of the dealerships, I don't think any of the first vehicles came with it. So it's not available, but it will be available soon.
Yeah.
All right, there's a couple other very cool things here. Well, convenience and utility. What's one thing a convenience customer really wants?
Cup holders.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my little airplane humor here. We have 2 cup holder, extra large cup holders and bottle holders for the driver, 2 for the passenger, 2 for each passenger in the second row, and 4, count them, 4 bottle holders for the third row. Now you must keep your devices shut off during takeoff, but when you do take them out, we have 3 plugs for you in the front, and we have another one in the back, plus a 110 volt and the USB up front. So we're all set.
I'm probably the only
What's
one
that?
that actually gets the whole airplane heater there.
Right there, there's a plug. Right there. Now, that 110 volt, I've heard that you don't want to use a heating element, an item with a heating element, but I'm sure it's like a little fan, the items that your child might be using to be plugged in. So, that's awesome. Okay, this one is cool. And when you guys get outside and get to test this, you guys are going to think this is cool as well. I can't show you how it works. I can only tell you. Oh, you did already? Okay, because you have to have the door shut and the vehicle on. But it is great.
Sorry.
And what we're talking about, did everybody see the Driver Easy Speak?
Yeah.
You can access it. Did he show you? You can access it
Turn
from
the
the
volume
apps.
up and everything.
And there's 7 volumes, and it's very cool. Billy, leave your sister alone.
Yes, ma'am.
And I say it's also an entertainment tool or a punishment tool, depending how you look at it. Save $1,800 and sing to your children, or threaten them that you're going to sing to them. And of course, the "Don't Make Me Come Back There" mirror that goes with that, so proves the mom has eyes and ears in the back of her head. All right, center console. We don't have anybody with a big purse here. Can you tell me, how big is it?
27 liters, was it? 24, or was it 24?
24 liters.
Nope. Liters?
No, for
For a 6-pack and ice.
That's even wrong. That is even wrong.
12-pack.
24.5 liters.
There you go.
It is equivalent, what did you say?
12-pack and some ice.
Well, you're still, well, yeah, maybe with some ice. Because I looked it up and it's 6.5 gallons and equivalent about 30 water bottles. So you probably can do, depends how much ice you put in there.
12-pack and a fifth. You good?
Build a little hole in the bottom, put a little plug where the drains right out the bottom, and we don't have to worry about it. We just pull the plug out.
That's
and let the
right.
water run out.
Yeah, that so much. I don't even have to cover the about wind noise and all that stuff because you already put a hole in the bottom of the car. But I'd say look for an aftermarket cooler that you can plug in because there's a plug in there too. But it goes all the way to the ground, and there is a small tray in there to put the small items in. Still gives you plenty of room to put other items in. And one of the number one things women said, I have no place to hide my purse. Well, now you definitely do. It has a roll top. Another really cool thing about this console. In fact, why don't you guys come take a look at it? If you think about it, how many of you, while you're driving, your wife says, move your elbow, move your elbow. So I can get into the console. You can now get into the console, and you still have your armrest. You don't have to move your elbow for your wife so that she can get something out of the console. So that's a great piece. Okay, you've already seen then is this beautiful little area right here that you can add for additional storage, and it's got the little shelf. It dips down towards the driver. It's done that purposely so you don't have things rolling out of your reach as a driver. It also has the access to the for your wires, so you can plug in all of your phones and everything through without having any wires exposed. And that lighting can be turned on and off just on the dash where you turn down your dash. All right, let's talk about, I'm sure he probably already went over how to program the liftgate. Excuse me a minute. I won't go over the programming, but I do want to mention one thing. Make sure when you're talking about this, again, you apply to your customer. We're talking about an active customer, and we don't just want to talk, well, if you're short, you need this. Picture, help them picture. Do you have any of you have a garage that has a really low top? Okay, use that. What if you're tailgating and there's a tree branch above? Use something that can apply to your customer. And show them when you're doing, instead of taking it from all the way up and adjusting it, take it to a point. Well, Mr. Customer, do this in your garage. When you get it to where you want it, just stop it, program it there. Now you're sure that you're never going to hit
the ceiling. Yeah.
Now there's 3 ways to get in the back. Who can tell me what 3 ways? No, I'm sorry. 3 ways to open the lift.
Put your button right here.
Okay.
Key fob.
Yep. Very good. Now, there's 2 ways for a customer to get to their cargo. That's why I changed my question.
Yeah.
So now, easy access. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind: if you're showing a vehicle on the lot, and you go, and now watch this. This is great, and it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Don't panic.
Because the hatch is open.
The glass is open. That's a safety. They do not want you to break the glass because it's open. It can't tell whether it's open all the way or open a little bit. Remember, the same thing happens too. Because if that, now that this is open a little bit, it won't open. So don't think that's broken. That means that this hasn't been shut all the way. So those are the little tips. And he probably also mentioned how you can lock all the doors from back here.
You gotta have the key.
Yeah. So everybody can't do that. You have to want to lock it. But again, paint that picture. Oh, you're doing it on purpose. But have you tested?
I know it does.
I'm not responsible.
You should.
And it doesn't return. It just stops.
The old ones used to return back up.
Yeah, this one just stops.
Using the Scion vans.
So
The Scion vans on the doors, so they'd open all the way back up and stuff like that.
right, exactly. All right, very good. Let's move on.
Tell your customers that's why Toyota is the top of the line. The small things.
That's
like
right. We're always thinking about safety. Absolutely. Okay, now this is not a race car, but it is fun to drive. Let's talk about powertrain. 95% of the vehicles we bring in are going to be V6, 3.5 V6, 24 valve dual overhead cam, 270 horsepower, 248 foot-pounds of torque, 19 in the city, 25 in the highway on the front-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is 18 and 24. Now, four-cylinder, again, is only 5%, and as you can see why. Most people say they want a four-cylinder because they think that they need the gas mileage. Look at the difference on the gas mileage. Not substantial enough to say go with a four-cylinder, so that's why we do it 95%. All right, this has a J2807 towing standards, XLE and limited, 5,000 pounds. LE and LE plus 2,000. The difference is the towing package that's standard on the XLE and the limited. But in it, it has a 150 amp alternator, heavy duty radiator, engine oil cooler, supplemental transmission cooler, 200 watt fan, and pre-wiring harness. So we do not, that's standard on the XLE and the limited. Now, we do not have a hitch. We didn't have a hitch last year. It wasn't a big deal. You can actually order a hitch from Toyota. I think they're $695. I'm sure there's some aftermarket hitches as well. Most of our customers, this is a family car. They have something else for towing. But it doesn't matter. This one can tow it as well. All right. Addressing noise, vibration, and harshness. We want this car to be comfortable and to drive. If your family just did a water park all day long and now they have the drive home, the last thing we want is a tiring drive. So they definitely address the things that make the drive much more comfortable. So first thing is they addressed all the aerodynamic drag, reduced coefficient of drag, wind noise and such. What's one of the ways we've been doing it now? What do we have here? Vortex generators, that's right. We have them all over this vehicle. In addition, you feel this, we have these little dimples here. Those help with the wind noise. That controls the airflow, minimizes the wind noise for both the driver and the passenger. We also have fins. We have the rear spoiler, and if you notice that fin up above, and in the picture up there you can see we also have fins underneath. In addition to that, we did reinforcements, a ton of reinforcement. They reinforced the back door opening, the instrument panel fastening points, the front cowl, the wheel housing, any area that we might have any noise. How much time? 2 minutes? Okay. Any noise, they made sure they reinforced.
That's why this is spec.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yep. And then,
That's what the man
yeah. And then in addition, there's 3 different types of engine mounts. Every one of the engine mounts have a purpose, but the main reason was they wanted to make sure that the passengers inside did not feel or hear that engine. And of course we have the acoustic windshield, which is in the presentation, but it's there. All right, one last comment, and that is everything we've talked about and you're still going to hear about has to do with innovations to improve my life. This buyer, that's what they're looking for. We have end-tune audio systems and safety technology. All of these, the premium features, all of these versatile items, all of this is to give you the tools to get that emotional buy from the customer. And we can truly be a segment leader. All right. Now, they have a minute or two? They have to head straight in. Okay. Before you leave today, if you do not have the pocket source, please go. You're actually going to, you're going to go to safety. It's over on that side. There's two